Hello, everybody. It's me, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, also known as BMR. It is time for a Friday Encounter story. It is February 17th. Hope you're all doing well. This is a great story. I call it Stalked by Bigfoot, Friend or Foe. And I do want to make mention, thank you for all your support. I'm under 200 subscribers away from 2,000. If you could do me a favor and share me out, like most of you do, I would appreciate it. But again, getting back to this story, it's fantastic. You guys love the Dogman ones, I've noticed, but this one here, of the Bigfoot stories I've done, it's very cool. And I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment if you would. Again, subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob. And of course, you can check the live shows during the week with myself and Tex on Texas Front Porch. With that being said, let's get on with it. My name is Roger, and yes, the first name is made up. I found it fitting, as we have all seen the patio video, at least if you're a Bigfoot enthusiast. What happened to me 7 years ago in the Great Smoky Mountains, more specifically, the Nantahala National Forest, is something today that I still have a hard time wrapping my head or even my hands around. I was 41 years old when this took place, and I am currently 48 at the time of this email. I have 25 years' experience as a trained survivalist and tracker. My love for the outdoors started way back to early childhood, as my father, an avid hunter, camper, and tracker himself, got me started down this path. It was early summer 2016 when I ventured off to the Nantahala to do some camping, hiking, and cast my fishing line into the abundant streams, lakes, and creeks surrounding the area. I traveled alone as my wife was away on a business trip, and my friends and son could not get time off from work. This was the only time that I had available for the year, so I decided it would be a great retreat to ponder what my next career objective would be. I wanted to break away from the corporate life with a big insurance company and was contemplating going into business for myself as a guide and teach my survival skills. So, I find this to be an excellent opportunity to reflect. My first 2 days, they were outstanding, taking in Mother Nature, hiking the trails, and the first days I caught an abundance of fish and never went to sleep hungry. Sure, I brought the necessities, dried and canned foods, water, coffee, everything most campers or hikers would bring for a few days or so out into the wild. The third morning arrived and I decided to take a more aggressive trail that led up into the mountains. The trail elevated along the path and was very challenging. I recall being at an elevation of maybe 2,100 feet or so. You had to be sound and pay attention to the path ahead of you, as some sections of the trail got steep and you could easily take a tumble backwards, lose your balance, and fall. This is where the story takes a turn, and even today, I am still amazed and admittedly a bit confused. After an hour or so on this challenging trail, I started to hear heavy footfall to my extreme left from the tree line. The forest was dense. I stopped to take a look. When I stopped, so did the footfall. When I started back up again, so did the footfall. My survivalist skills heightened. This was predator-like stalking. I realize I am being flanked. Yet I cannot discern what this is. The footfall was not of a four-legged animal such as a mountain lion or bear. This was bipedal. I do not scare easily, but the fear of the unknown took over my body and my senses. I decided to turn back around and proceed back down the trail. As I mentioned earlier, this was a steeper slope and my pace quickened as I proceeded back downwards. To my relief, the footfall stopped, and I grew a bit more confident, but I was still anxious to get back to camp. I now am perhaps a half an hour or so from my camp. My anxiety lessened, and I even managed a grin, believing that I am now out of danger. Then it started. The heavy bipedal footfall. It started up. I stopped. So did the footfall. I picked up speed, which is a mistake, especially if you are being stalked. That instinctive nature of predators makes them more aggressive and determined to pounce on their prey. Again, my walking is kind of out of control and my balance was compromised. Suddenly, from the tree line, a huge figure literally jumped right into the middle of the trail, not 30 feet directly in front of me. It was tall and wide, covered in brown hair. It looked directly at me. It had somewhat of a human-like face, but not human. I then totally lose balance and start to spiral down the hill towards this creature. I remember at least 3 complete somersaults down the path before I lost consciousness. The part of the story that really has me questioning my sanity is when I woke up. It had to be at least 2 hours later due to the positioning of the sun. When I awoke, I fully expected to be lying in the middle of the path, where I do now believe was a Bigfoot that jumped out before me. However, I was not in the middle of the path, but I was back at my camp. I was laying on a bunch of soft branches and tree leaves that seemed to take on the structure of perhaps a mattress or a quilt. It was comfortable, and assuredly, time was put into the construction of this. Amazed, I got up, looked around my camp, and saw bipedal footprints surrounding my resting area. They measured 22 inches long, and I could make out at least 2 distinctive toes. Did a Bigfoot pick me up and take me to camp and prepare a bedding area for me? I do not know. Whatever it was, and I do believe it was Bigfoot, it was not the predator that I had feared upon the trail. Today, I still go back to this same area, and I do reflect. Yes, sometimes I do hear the very same footfall and flanking to the side. However, the feeling I got today is not of fear, but one of protection. I believe my new friend watches over me. This I still cannot process. That's a great story. I believe the guy saw Bigfoot. I think he jumped in his pathway on the trail. I do believe that perhaps it picked him up and took him back to his camp. He prepared a bed for him. He saw the footprints, the tracks surrounding the bedding area. We've heard stories of Bigfoot taking care of children, other people. We've heard of the story of the Osterman encounter where the guy was pulled out of his tent and dragged through a mountain, which of course was a terrifying encounter. But this was gentle. Sure, the guy was scared a little bit earlier, predator, being tracked and stalked, like we all would have that sense. But in the end, the guy, for whatever reason, did not feel threatened. He's gone back to this area and camped. And in fact, this Bigfoot, I think, does look out for this guy. I thought it was a great story. I hope you enjoyed it. It's Friday. Please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Share me out. Help me get to 2,000 subscribers. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, this is Bigfoot Michigan Rob, and have a great weekend.